is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are FC.
Dusty Baker and the Washington Nationals thought they came into the K to take the series, and it didn't happen. The Kansas City Royals stood up and said, not in our house.
On the ground, base hit center field. Mike Moustakas comes off the bench and ties it in the ninth inning. Kane, left center field. Taylor on the run. Game over. 3 in the bottom of the ninth inning. Beautiful day in Kansas City for Royals baseball. It is school day at the K, and the Royals were celebrating like kids last night, a walk-off victory, and now they go for the series against the Washington Nationals. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre.
That's right. That's right. Not in our house. Believe
That
it.
was good. That was very good.
Thank you.
It's like
Look,
a movie trailer.
It was neat. They're finally expanding my horizons. I love it. But Royals baseball is the reason.
Last night was not unique because we saw that happen over and over again last year. But I felt like it was a little unique because it sure didn't feel that way for the first 7 innings.
No, okay. From the 6th and 7th inning on, I was almost nodding off up here. It just wasn't happening. You know, we've been waiting, these fans, patiently to see that outburst, and suddenly, here it came. That hit attack, the frenzy-style hitting, the clutch hitting, all of a sudden, they recognized their DNA, and they jumped on him.
Yes, they did. And the Royals hope to jump on the Nationals again today, but they could have their hands full. Steven Strasburg will start for Washington. Chris Medlin, who only gave up 1 hit in his last start, will go for the Royals.
All we do is win big, win big,
Here's our Quicken Loans Rocket Arms. Steven Strasburg is 4-0. Chris Medlin 1-2. Walks have been an issue so far for him, but he only gave up 1 hit in his last start at Seattle. And last night, Jeff Montgomery gave us a pitching preview for today's game.
Yeah, really good pitching matchup today. You're going to see a couple pitchers who have occasionally dominant stuff. Steven Strasburg's a guy that has the ability to pound the strikes in 40-8 strikeout to walk ratio. He's got great stuff. He knows how to pitch. He's an experienced guy, and he's got momentum on his side. So look for the Royals. Maybe they'll be swinging early against him because he's going to be on the attack. And Chris Medlin, here's a guy who's had some ups and downs during the course of the year, but for the most part, he's figured out what he needs to do to be effective. He's got to use all 3 of his pitches. Got a nice fastball, changeup, and curveball. Got to keep those pitches down. Got hurt at the solo home run in his last game. Going to try to eliminate the home run ball here today.
Thank you, Monty. And the Royals' early season offensive struggles have had a lot to do with Alcides Escobar and Lorenzo Cain, who seem to be over the hump. We'll talk about them right after this. Kansas City for the final game between the Royals and the Nationals. And after losing 5 in a row, the Royals have now won 2 of their last 3, and a lot of that has to do with our most trusted players getting over the hump, Alcides Escobar and Lorenzo Cain.
Well, you want to know the difference? It's the fact that they're swinging at strikes, especially Escobar. He's not fishing, he's not over trying. They're trying less, and that's working for him. Cain's recognizing his pitches now. So is Escobar, using the whole field. That's the key.
Big crowd here today, which includes 13,000 kids. Kids Day at the K. First pitch is coming up. Good manners.
Are you kidding? Please and thank you are the magic words. Believe that. And Locane, look at, he's drawing him near. Hope he signs for the young man.
The Royals have never won a series against the Nationals, and before the Nationals, when they were the Expos, they've never won 2 straight against the Nationals or the Expos. They'll go for the series today. The first pitch is coming up next. Royals baseball is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by your Midwest Ford dealers, visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. Nice sunny day. It is windy. The wind is blowing out toward right, coming out of the north, so it's a little bit on the chilly side, although the sun is out. And it is Kids Day at the K. And here we go. You use good manners. And as Lorenzo Cain was warming up, he noticed a sign, and on his way back into the dugout,
he got his wish. And I guarantee you, players, they look around, they know what's going on out there, but if there's no magic words, I don't like your chances of him coming over. Good job, young man. So far, that's the play of the day.
Dusty Baker and the Washington Nationals. Here's their starting lineup against Chris Medlin today. Changes. Clint Robinson will be at first base, former Royals farmhand. So Ryan Zimmerman will be the designated hitter. Dusty Baker having some fun with Jock Jones, the former Minnesota Twin, who had a lot of fun many years playing here at Kauffman Stadium. Chris Medlin, for whatever reason, has not pitched well at Kauffman Stadium since joining the Royals.
You know, every guy or starting pitcher or player could tell you why they're good in one place and not in another. They think they might have an idea, but most of them will tell you, I can't tell you why. But not using the confines very well here in this big, beautiful ballpark. He's going to have to keep his stuff down. No question. Fastball, curveball, changeup. He's got 3 nice pitches, but his walks have been high. Can he find that mechanical issue, fix it, throw strikes, challenge him down?
Michael Taylor will lead off. He is 1 for 8 in the series. Bright day, so many of the players and some of the hitters will be wearing sunglasses. And Medlin's first pitch, over but low. Good spot. Try and keep it down to the Nationals, who have used the long ball in this series, hit a couple of home runs in last night's game. And they are 5th in the National League in home runs. 2 balls and no strikes.
And, you know, watching them the first 2 games, they have an offense that puts the ball in play. We've noticed at least the last couple of games, and they're dangerous.
On the ground to Moustakas, and he got caught in between hops. And Taylor is going to dig for 2, and he is in there. That'll be an error on Moustakas.
Well, you called it. Moose started in, keep going. See, but when he backed off, a little hesitation there, that ball ate him up. And, you know, for one of the best fielding American League third basemen, it's going to happen. It's unfortunate. You see how he turned to his side? If he would have kept it in front, he would have kept him into a single, though. That's the only thing he would have liked to have done. Position himself a little better on that.
So Anthony Rendon, who homered in the first inning last night. And Medlin is down and away. By the way, Moustakas is back in the lineup today after missing the last 2 with a bruised left thumb, which has bothered him more defensively than at the plate. And there's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Our University of Kansas hospital injury report. It's rare when Mike Moustakas is out of the starting lineup in back-to-back games, but the bruised left thumb, which he injured during the Anaheim series during the last road trip, and then re-aggravated it in the Seattle series. But he came off the bench last night and had one of the biggest hits. Game-tying 2-run single in the 9th inning. Good breaking ball, makes it 1-2 on Rendon.
Medlin wants to attack the strike zone with all 3 pitches. He's a guy who's not going to rely on one. He's going to top 93, but he's right around, you know, high 80s, low 90s. He's a finesse command pitcher.
Try to get him to chase 2-2.
Rendon is a second-place hitter for a reason. Puts the ball in play. He's got some power, but he also knows the situation here. With nobody out, he wants to try to move him over for that guy. Harper, give him a chance to knock a sacrifice fly or better in.
And he got a ground ball off of Infante's glove.
Wow.
1st and 3rd and nobody out. Infante has really had a tough time with his backhand early this season.
Yes, that's the 3rd one he's missed. The last couple of seasons he's been money to his left or right. Highly unusual. The best defense in baseball, or in the American League for that matter. 2 balls put in play would have been 2 outs. 2 clanks. Wow. Happens though.
I think maybe Manny Gonzalez, the umpire, and where he was positioned had anything to do with it.
Could have. A fielder likes to track the ball off of the bat with nobody in the way, obviously. Okay, because this is distracting. He might have lost it and couldn't pick up the hop, Ryan. So that's a good call. I'm not going to make an excuse for him, but there is some difficulty there when the guy's right in front of it.
So 1st and 3rd on a couple of errors, nobody out to Bryce Harper, who is 1 for 9 in the series with 5 strikeouts. That is both good news or bad news. Good news, he's not swinging the bat well. The bad news is at some point he's going to make somebody pay. He's not going to go through 1 for 9 stretches with 5 strikeouts very often this year, but Medlin jumps ahead 0-2.
Well, you know, this is an early test for Medlin. He's a bulldog mentality type of pitcher. You know, should have 2 outs on the board, but has none. So how do you react? He jumps ahead of the best hitter in baseball, 0-2.
Almost got him to chase it. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Believe me, once the Royals get back in that dugout, they'll be going, you know what, Med, our bad. We'll pick you up. Sometimes that can work for you.
Last year, as National League MVP, Bryce Harper hit 42 home runs. He also walked 124 times. In the air, very shallow center field, and that is going to drop in between Kane and Escobar. So 2 errors and a bloop. And 3 batters into the game. Washington leads 1-0 as Harper gets just his 2nd hit of the series and his first RBI.
Executed the changeup, but the only issue, and it was away, it was okay, it's just up a little bit, and he's able to get his barrel on it. So 2 errors and a blooper.
Ryan Zimmerman is the designated hitter today after starting at first base for the first 2 games of the series. He's had a good series. 4 out of 9 with 3 doubles and an RBI. He has Rendon at second base, Harper at first. 1 ball and no strikes. And Butera able to get his glove on it. Harper wanted to go to second base. He took 2 or 3 hard steps and then realized that Rendon wasn't going anywhere.
All right. If Drew Butera does nothing else the rest of the day, this is his one good thing. Kept him in double play order. Kept that ball. That was a tough ball for him. Good job. Kept the runners from advancing. Medlin needs a little help now early. See if he can roll up a ground ball double play.
2-1.
Zimmerman's rolled into a couple already this year. Medlin, you know, if his pitches are working down in the zone, maybe he can get him to hit the top half of the ball.
Upstairs, 3 balls and 1 strike. Medlin has run into some trouble this year with walks. And in a loss to Seattle on Friday, on one hand, he gave up 1 hit in 5 1/3 innings. That was a home run to Seth Smith. He also walked 5, including 4 in the first 2 innings, but none of those walks turned into runs. And he already has, not pinpoint quite yet, but you can already tell he has much better command of his pitches in the first inning today.
I agree. Good spot there, 3-1. That's a pitch that big hitters like to swing at, but he put it on the outside corner. See if he can do it again.
Got him to chase perhaps ball 4. Look at the Royals defensively, presented by Ford. Gordon, Kane, Dyson in the outfield. On the infield, Moustakas, Escobar, Infante, and Hosmer, and Drew Butera. It's his 3rd start. So Salvador Perez gets a day off today and tomorrow with the scheduled off day. Another foul ball.
We've seen a few starts this year, Ryan, where the first inning didn't really go well for a couple of their starters. Volquez in Anaheim, and you know, also Ian Kennedy in Anaheim had a rough first inning, couple quirky plays. I don't know, let's just see if he can wiggle out of this.
On the ground,
Oh.
fair.
Wow.
Rendon scores. Harper goes to 3rd. Zimmerman has a double. It's 2-0, and now 2 runners in scoring position. Still nobody out. Both errors have turned into runs.
You know, and that's the worst thing. Now he's 3-2 changeup after 2 fastballs, and it was just out of the up and hittable. I'd like to have seen him stayed with his fastball maybe there. The changeup, you know, maybe he hasn't had enough time to throw it to get it ready. The fastball seems to be his pitch early in this first inning.
And with Steven Strasburg on the other side. Ned Yost decides it's time to bring the infield in halfway with nobody out in the first inning. And Daniel Murphy at the plate, and Murphy lines it up the right field line. And now the ball kicks away from Dyson. And before the Royals can record one out, they have committed 3 errors, and the Nationals have scored 4 runs.
This game of baseball will drive you batty. Royals did everything right last night in their comeback walk-off victory to catch them. And the best fielding team in baseball the next day in a day game can't seem to find a handle. Just sometimes the game's like that. I don't know what to say right now.
So Taylor reached on the air by Moustakas. Then Rendon reached on the air by Infante. Those are the first 2 hitters of the game. And now Murphy gets another 90 feet on the air by Dyson. And now outside to Jason Worth with a runner at third and nobody out. Worth hit one of the 3 home runs for the Nationals last night, his 5th of the year. Rendon, Murphy, and Worth all went deep. Two and one. Three balls and 1 strike.
I know we talk a lot about things being contagious in baseball. The good things are, you know, the frenzy hitting, the way they catch on, and unfortunately errors are the same way, and we're seeing it here in the first.
Well, we've got a long way to go. We're only in the top of the first inning, and yet after that exciting walk-off victory last night, it's very easy to ask the question, was that the win that's going to get these guys back to playing the way we're used to? And now 4 runs, no outs, and 3 errors. 5 runs, still nobody out. And Kane chases it deep, but Worth is in with a double. Air, single, double, double, double.
That's a good swing, though. That ball was in on his hands. Worth, a power hitter that loves to pull the ball out of the ballpark, stayed short to the ball and inside out at a laser liner. That was a good swing.
And now Wilson Ramos with a runner at second and nobody out.
Let's take a look at that swing again, Ryan. Watch how quick his hands were and how short they were to the ball. Oh man, he had to get his top hand on it. His ball was elevated, it's in on him. In order to not get jammed, he got the barrel there. By keeping his hands inside the ball.
Ramos didn't mean to do it, and it's 0-2.
Worth told me yesterday when I asked him, how you been hitting the ball? Man, I'm hitting the ball, but nothing's fallen. And he hit that home run last night, and now look at the first swing of the day for him. Sometimes it just clicks.
Still 0-2. Ned Yost got into a long conversation with members of the media before the game today in talking about Kendrys Morales, and he's basically describing Jason Worth and that the difference between being in a slump and just not having any luck. So Worth's not getting hits, but he's not in a slump because he's seeing the ball, making good contact. He's not getting any hits. or at least wasn't getting any hits. Still 0-2. .31 pitches for Chris Medlin, and still looking for his first out.
Yikes.
Inside, 1-2. Ramos is giving Medlin a battle. Ramos is from Valencia, Venezuela. And if that rings a bell, that's the same hometown as Salvador Perez. So they have two catchers to pull for. That did not work for the Nationals last night. They scored first, but the Royals came up with 4 runs in the last 2 innings. Two and two.
He's got good stuff, but his command is off. And you know, when they made the first 2 errors on him, and you know that's tough to put a pitcher in that predicament, especially for a guy like Medlin who's been struggling with his command. And he's just leaving some pitches up, and then they're doing a little frenzy hitting of their own.
This is pitch number 35. And now it's 3-2, and Drew Butera is going to go out for a chat. Yeah, the defense may have set the tone with the 2 errors against the first 2 batters, but Medlin has allowed 4 hits and 3 are doubles.
Well, I was wondering if Ned was going to get any movement going. 5 runs in the first with nobody out. It's not going to get any better.
And there are 2 types of pitch counts to keep an eye on. There's the overall pitch count, and then there's the number of pitches in 1 inning. And when you start getting in the neighborhood of 40 pitches per inning, that can be the equivalent of the strain of 110 pitches over the course of 6 or 7 innings. Because the pitchers, you know, they throw a lot of pitches, but then they have some time in between innings for their arm to recover.
You're right. Not to mention the stressfulness of the situation. First inning. And look
Ramos,
what they're doing.
how many balls has he fouled off in this at bat?
Well, this is not a good day for Medlin, obviously. I mean, the fact that he's already thrown so many, and now this young man here is just grinding them out.
10 pitches in this at bat, 6 foul balls.
Wow.
And he struck him out. And that is the first out of the inning. And it comes against the 7th hitter of the inning.
All right, the changeup right where he wants it. Good spot.
Tipping his cap to the crowd. So he's maintained a sense of humor in this otherwise disastrous first inning.
He's a veteran.
And now the ball skips away from Drew Butera, so that's a big wild pitch. That gets a runner to third with less than 2 outs. And Butera may be going out there to go over signs. Maybe that wasn't the pitch he was expecting.
It's very possible, especially the way that Butera went after that backhanded. Typically, you're going to go thumbs out, keep the ball in front of you. And with that overhand spin on it, it kicked up off his wrist.
So Worth at third with 1 out for Clint Robinson, who has spent most of his professional career in the Royals minor league system. Robinson was the Royals' 25th round pick in 2007 out of Troy University in Alabama. That's hit well to center field. Kane gets turned around and makes the play deep enough to get a run home. So the wild pitch is big. And Washington leads 6-0. So an inning where we have seen 3 errors and a wild pitch help the Nationals score 6. Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. This is nothing new for the Washington Nationals. They have now scored 39 runs in the first inning this year, and that's the most in the major leagues. I don't know how many times they've gotten 6 in the first inning. So 6 runs for Steven Strasburg. Grounded to Hosmer. Medlin to the bag to end the inning. So 8 make it 9 come to the plate against Medlin in the top of the first inning, and 6 come around to score.
As they made 3 errors in the first inning. 6-0 Nats. Wow. But watch a real pro. You want to watch him? He made the out. Medlin walks to the dugout, flips the ball in to the fan there, kept his emotions, kept his control, didn't show any anger. Now he's going to walk down into the tunnel very calmly. Nobody says anything. Might be one of his worst first innings in his career. And that's how you carry yourself. Didn't sit in the dugout, didn't throw a towel, didn't throw any Gatorade bottles or anything like that. He took it and wore it. I like that.
And continued to compete through that inning.
Flipped the ball to the little girl.
Yep.
He didn't throw a dart at her. He just tossed it, said, "Here, hon, my day could be over." We'll see if he lets him go back out there again. But right now, oh man, do the Royals offense have their hands full.
Low to Alcides Escobar. Steven Strasburg. 4-0 in his first 5 starts. And he has 40 strikeouts in 36 innings. So that sounds impressive, but as we've seen the past few years, pitchers that rely on strikeouts don't have that kind of success against the Royals. We'll get back to those numbers after this pitch as Escobar takes way inside, and now he's ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. Strasburg was on the disabled list a couple of times last year. He had problems with his neck and problems with an oblique, and since coming back from the DL, he is 12-2 with a 1.9 ERA. 3 balls and 1 strike on Escobar.
This is a young man who has great feel in the strike zone with all 4 pitches. He moves it in and he moves it out. He moves it up and around, but he'll take the walk. How about that? And you know, sometimes starting pitchers will tell you, you go out there with there's a 6-run lead in the first inning, there's some pressure to hold that lead. So maybe there's a little bit of a silver lining. We'll see.
Well, in some ways, it reminds me of what Monty has shared with us over the years about a closer in a non-save situation. Everyone expects you, come on, just throw strikes, let's get this thing going. Well, maybe it's the same for a starter. Hey, you got a 6-run lead, you're one of the best pitchers in the game, come on, let's not get cute, let's just throw strikes. And some pitchers, I remember Andy Pettitte in particular, used to say he did not like pitching with a big lead because it changed his mental edge.
And not to mention the fact that he warmed up at 110 and it's 141. He's been sitting for a long time as his teammates got him a 6-run lead, but now he's got his catcher coming out, Wilson Ramos, who's got a great arm, by the way. We witnessed that last night. This kid, he calls a good game. He's their guy.
Nationals defensively, they had been tied with the Royals for fewest errors in the major leagues before the top of the first inning. Worth, Taylor, Harper in the outfield, Rendon, Espinosa, Murphy, Robinson at first, and Ramos is behind the plate. There's Clint Robinson, who's found a home in Washington. And Moustakas takes a strike.
Strasburg will work 94 to 97 miles an hour. Aggressive inside to both sides of the plate, especially with 2 strikes. And he'll bounce a few curveballs up there. He'll bury it with 2 strikes. Ooh, that's some good teeth on that one going away. Moves the ball in and out. And you know, this young man's in his 7th year already. And he's grown up a lot. We've seen the progression of Giordano Ventura over the last 2 or 3 seasons, you know, and how much smarter he's getting, and he's controlling his emotions. Well, Strasburg, he's reaching that point where he might be reaching his ceiling as far as greatness right now. This could be his year.
Well, the top of the first is not all on Mike Moustakas, but I'll bet, knowing how much he cares, he probably feels that way because the whole inning started with a ground ball to him and an error. But a lot of other things went wrong in that 6-run first inning. Breaking ball is high. Ramos appeared to be a little surprised that wasn't called a strike, and it's 3-2.
And maybe surprised that Moose didn't hit a 2-run Moose bomb. Oh, that's a hanger. Oh man, that is right there. But Moose was probably waiting for a fastball. You know, 2-2 count. Strasburg's thrown a couple by him already. He thinks he can get some cheese by him. Let's see.
Popped up into the sun, and Rendon really fighting it and brings it down. And for a moment there, the way he motioned with his hands might suggest that he didn't see it. But he went to the right spot. The ball separated from the sun, and he was able to make the play.
The late movement on his 2-seam fastball. And actually, it's a 4-seam. I don't even see he throws a 2-seamer. Watch that. See, right down the middle, he beat Moose to it, though. Just beat him. This wasn't quite quick enough. Got a pitch 3-2 right there. That's what you want to do with 6-run lead. Hitters should be looking for the fastball early off Strasburg. He's not going to be messing around. He's going to go right after these guys.
Strike to Lorenzo Cain.
Especially when you have his kind of fastball, you're going to establish that right now and say, all right, boys, let's see what you can do with my heat.
Lorenzo has added 40 points to his batting average during his 6-game hitting streak. He won the game last night, driving in Mike Moustakas with 2 down in the bottom of the 9th.
Yep, he got him a pitch, turned on it just nicely, and the timing of it was perfect. But there's a difference between a 91 mile an hour fastball and 95, 96, and it just showed there. He blew that ball right. Cain just barely got a piece of it and fouled it off. To turn up the bat speed a little bit here against Strasburg.
That was his 4th career walk-off hit. And in addition to the current 6-game hitting streak, he has a multi-hit game 3 times in his last 5 games. So it's not just a hit here or a hit there. And starting to use the center of the field again. Also using right field, one of his strengths, and tried to go to right field there and fouled it away.
See how he picks up his foot and sets it down? Looks like everything's in balance pretty well, but just a tick behind him. And those are fastballs that he's given him that are right there. Like I said, 6-run lead with that kind of fastball. Didn't expect a majority of them.
Like a cutter.
That's what his slider does. It has a little cutting action to it, and it was placed perfectly. He's down. You see how he's on the side of the ball there, puts a little bit of torque on his index middle finger and allows that ball to break just a little bit, enough to deceive the hitter.
Two down to Eric Hosmer. He drove in 3 of the runs last night.
See if Hosmer can get a piece of cheese. Ooh, it's a little respect. First pitch.
The Royals were hoping for more when they got just 1 in the 8th inning, but it ended up being an important run. And it was Hosmer beating out a double play by sliding headfirst into first base. Base hit right field. Escobar stops at second, and the Royals have 2 on with 2 out.
Ooh, man, I got a feeling that Kendrys Morales is going to get into one today. Guy's been a lot like Worth, Jason Worth, hitting the ball right at people, not getting any luck. And now Morales has been doing the same thing for the last week. He's getting no love, hitting the ball hard. He's only hitting 208. This could be a day he comes out on his fastball. Let's hope so.
He got a fastball and hit it in the air to left field. And Worth makes the play inside the line. So a walk and a single. The Royals strand 2 in the bottom of the first. Washington leads 6-0. May the 4th be with the Royals, and the Royals are going to have to rally offensively today as The Nationals got 6 in the top of the first inning. 3 of those runs were unearned, as the Royals committed 3 errors. All 9 came to the plate against Medlin, so he'll get Taylor, Rendon, and Harper again in the second. Taylor hit a high hopper to third to open the game, and in a spot where Mike Moustakas had to make a decision whether to stay back or charge the ball, and he got caught in between, and the result was an error. And Anthony Rendon reached on an error by Omar Infante, the very next batter. Jammed him. 2 balls and 1 strike.
It's a good spot there. You know, he's been trying to get it there, but he's missed it in that first inning. But the impressive thing about Medlin, and he's a veteran guy, is he's never in his career had allowed 6 runs in an inning, any inning. So I watch guys when they fail and when you struggle. How do you carry yourself? Well, after that unbelievable inning, after the 3rd out was made, he caught the ball from Haas. And when he caught the ball from Haas, I was looking for some kind of emotion from him, like most players are. But this is body language. Watch this. This is professional body language. Touches the bag. Just had his worst inning in his career. Watch him. Keeps his head up. He's all right. He looked up. He acknowledged it. Gave the kid a ball, and he walked and sat down. That is a sign of a guy who's tough. He's got mental toughness.
And he comes back to begin the second inning and strikes out Michael Taylor.
And believe me, I've talked about his bulldog mentality. He has pride. Now, I wouldn't say he embarrassed himself, because this is the big leagues. Those hitters over there are paid big money to hit. But he talked to himself in between innings and said, you know what? I'm going to go out there and shut them down now. That's a bulldog mentality guy. Let's see how he does. Ooh, good spot.
And he really hasn't had a clean start this year. He's had starts where most of the numbers look good. There's a pop up. Boy, did the wind grab that. And all the way over to Omar Infante. When that ball was hit, that looked like a pop up to Escobar in his tracks at the shortstop position, but the wind grabbed it and pushed it all the way over to Infante. So Escobar went back first.
Trying to track it. See how he put his glove up tall? See that? You put your glove up at the highest point, get the sun behind the glove, and sometimes the ball will come out of the sun. You'll see it. Got to use the glove. Use your hand, whatever it takes to block the sun. Ooh, nice. That little movement there.
Harper drove in his first run of the series in the first inning with a bloop single to center. But anyway, getting back to Medlin, he hasn't had a clean start this year. There have been certain numbers each start that have been good, but he's competed every time. And that's what the Royals talked about when they signed him, that he was a good pitcher, but on the days when he didn't have his A game, he still found a way to get it done, or at least keep the team in the game. And we saw that in that start Friday at Seattle. He walked the first 2 hitters of the game, and both hitters were down 0-2, but he didn't give up a run. Then he walked 2 more hitters in the second inning and didn't give up a run. Whereas a lot of pitchers, when innings begin like that, runs will be scored. And Dave Island talked a lot about this before Medlin made his first start. 5th starter. He was skipped in the first week of the season. Like a lot of pitchers, he's a rhythm guy, and it might take him a few starts to find his rhythm. This is start number 5. And now a slow roller to Hosmer. Hosmer to Medlin. And the second inning ends like the first inning, with 6 fewer runs.
PFP, pitcher's fielding practice. Table A, look at him. Get to the line, get over to first base. Get there, wait, catch it. Athlete.
Nationals. They scored all 6 in the first inning. Royals got a couple of base runners in the bottom of the first against Strasburg, but he was able to get Kendrys Morales for the final out. Now it's Alex Gordon, Omar Infante, and Gerard Dyson. Outside to Alex. This is the second time that the Royals have faced Steven Strasburg. They faced him back in 2010. But nobody in the starting lineup that day is in the lineup today. And that would include Alex Gordon. And you say, wait a minute, Alex was with the Royals in 2010. But that was the year that he went back down to AAA to get his game back together and make the conversion from third base to the outfield. Our Mazda game break. The Royals will always be the team that handed Steven Strasburg his first major league loss. He only gave up 1 earned run in 6 innings. The Royals won that game 1-0 behind the pitching of Brian Bannister. And who got the save that day? Joakim Soria.
How about that? Well, you know, in Dayton's book, More Than a Season, we've been talking about how impressive the book is and stuff. Alex Gordon has the introduction to that book, and he talks about that 2010 and what that did to him and how Dayton handled that in the organization, demoting him and talking to him and communicating with him and letting him know their feelings. You're still a big part of our future. I'll say, back in 10, here we are in 15, and he's the guy. I mean, excuse me, 16. And it's interesting, just how you communicate with people. That's we're in the people business. These players, they're players. Sure, they're paid to play, but they're also human beings. And when you explain situations to them, they buy in. And Alex bought in. He went down, knew it was better for the team and for him, and look what he's become. Ooh,
changeup.
That's nasty.
At 91, by the way.
Yeah, hitters will say that's dirty. Whoa, man, look at that changeup. Right after getting a boatload of fastballs, pulls the string on him.
Second strikeout for Strasburg. And here's Omar Infante. Omar is hitless so far in this series. Outside at 96 miles an hour. One ball and 1 strike.
This is the Washington Nationals team that everybody talked about last season in 2015 coming in. They had the weapons, they had the bullpen, they got the arms, they got hitters, and it never happened. But this year, new skipper, new outlook, same talent, just got off to a hot start, but they're showing it because they can pitch. They got great starting pitching. They have a guy in his 21st year managing your team who's had a lot of success in his career. That's a boost.
Infante down in the count, gets his first hit of the series, and he's on with 1 out. Now the Nationals at this point last year were 2 games under 500. Today they are 10 games above 500.
Hey, there's a little cutter slider. See him on the side of the ball there. Infante just reached out, used the barrel. That's called using your hands as well. Good handsy swing.
One on, 1 out to Gerard Dyson. One ball and no strikes. Dyson is hitless in his last 10 at bats, but he played a role last night, and the Royals come from behind victory. Had a walk and a run scored last night. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Facing Strasburg was not going to be easy the rest of the day. They know that. But in order to attack him, you got to get him as early as you can. He's going to attack you. He attacks the strike zone. So be ready and use the middle of the field. Don't try to jump out and hit a homer. Those accidentally happen. Just try to stay short with your swing and then aim towards the middle of the field and see what happens.
1-2. That one in 97. .6'4", 235 pounds, Steven Strasburg.
I was just looking at his. I was just going to talk about that, Rhino. You were right on there. You took the words right out of my mouth. This is a perfect pitcher's body. I mean, you want the leverage. You want the long muscles. A guy with long legs and long arms, they can whip it in there. And you know he's got a little deception when you're that tall. There's arms and legs coming at you. 6'4", anything over 6'4", 6'5", heck, that gives you a little advantage. 27 years old in his 7th year in the big leagues.
Yeah, that year the Royals faced Strasburg was 1 year after he was drafted 1st overall out of San Diego State, 2009. Another foul ball. So 1st overall pick in 09, big leagues in 2010, but before the 2010 season was over, he had blown out his elbow. And he missed 2011 with Tommy John surgery. And then remember the big to-do at the end of the 2012 season when the Nationals shut him down before the playoffs because he had reached his so-called innings limit. That topic was debated over and over again and brought up again last year with Matt Harvey. There were a lot of references to Steven Strasburg in 2012 when that controversial topic came up with the Mets right-hander last year.
I'd like to talk to him sometime one-on-one outside, maybe run into him at a restaurant or somewhere, walking on the street, and just say, hey, just between me and you, was that the right decision, do you think? You know, it'd be interesting to see, but you got to win at all costs, in my opinion. Gerard had a great at-bat going there. He sure did. He was fouling off some pitches, and Strasburg got him. Again, he's beating him with the fastball mainly. I believe Tony Gwynn was his manager at San Diego State.
Yeah, he was.
Hall of Famer, the late Tony Gwynn.
Yeah. And the part to that story is Steven Strasburg was very open with the fact that he used to use chewing tobacco. And when Tony Gwynn died of cancer, and Tony Gwynn was convinced that that cancer was the result of years and years of chewing tobacco, that Steven Strasburg quit. Drew Butera gets it to the gap. Omar Infante to third. He's going to be waved home, and the Royals are on the board. And Drew Butera gives his teammates the hair flip. So he's had an impact in every game he's played, and he's had very little playing time.
Well, Strasburg's going to throw the fastball until they hit it. That's all he's going to use, and Butera was ready. I like it. Caught the ball out in front. He cheated a little bit. What I mean by that, once he loads his body, he starts coming forward before Strasburg even throws it. And he placed it perfectly. 2-out RBI, hair flip and all. Gotta like it.
That's the best one out of all of them,
yeah,
right?
You know,
I mean, remember Nori pulled his sword out and like a samurai. I'm trying to think of the other. Billy Butler.
Butler was a barbecue sauce or something. What was Billy? He did something. But anyway, this is a confident team. They're not cocky. Okay?
Rod Dyson, you know, revving the motor on his motorcycle. Right. But I think the hair flip is the best one.
This is the part of the game today, and it makes it beautiful. Guys can be themselves. One of the reasons Ned Yost has been so successful, the most wins in the Royals organization in their history, is because he's let these guys be themselves.
Speaking of hair flips, Joel?
Yeah, the hair flip, I don't have enough to do that, but Drew Butera loves the hair flip. Convenient that he just took the helmet off there, too, and he told me he's convinced. No question about it. He's got better hair, not than just Harper, or not a Hosmer, but also Harper. Hands down, he's got the best hair.
Now that's saying something.
Yeah.
Those are two guys right there who have great hair. Escobar, that's off the end of the bat. Taylor coming up, and that's down. Taylor heaves it to the plate. Butera, they called him out, but the ball got away from Ramos. Escobar down to second base, and the Royals get 2 with 2 down in the second inning.
That's going to bring out pitching coach Mike Maddox. Drew Butera getting it all started. And then Escobar, hotter than a firecracker, comes in. Taylor with a nice throw here. They might have gotten him as C.B. Buckner called him out. A little bit too soon, but he's safe. And we talked.
I think he would have been out.
And we talked about how difficult it can be for pitchers with that big a lead early. And there's the heart sign for Esky. He gives the heart.
So the Royals have made it a 4-run game, and it's only the bottom of the second inning, and Strasburg suddenly is at 42 pitches. Mike Moustakas popped to third in the first inning. Breaking ball for a strike. Well, the Royals, and again, we have a long way to go, but the Royals, they scored 4 runs against the Washington bullpen. So if anything, they are working on Strasburg's pitch count and getting closer to the bullpen and chipping away along the way. Fouled away, 0-2.
Moose looks like he's carrying his hands a little bit long in the strike zone. Doesn't have that little quick bat, quick onto it. And you know, maybe he wants to go out to the opposite field, but let's keep in mind too, and remember, he's got a little left thumb issue been bothering him. So maybe there's a difference there. Maybe he's favoring it some, but it's not the same swing.
Left side. Rendon fields and throws him out. But the Royals get 2 on RBIs from Butera and Escobar with 2 outs.
All right, back away.
Run. Salvador Perez gets the afternoon off, and then the Royals have a day off tomorrow, so Salvi gets 2 days. So Salvi was nice enough to join us. Salvi, you have a great nickname for HUD.
For HUD?
What's HUD? Your
Niño.
See, he don't even know me by that name.
Loco.
There we go.
Mala mía, my bad, loco.
That's okay. My name is Rex Hudler, and they call me Hud. My friends call me Hud.
Give me a hug.
All right, I'll give it to you.
Gracias, amigo.
Okay. All right, you got it.
It doesn't matter where we are, on the bus, on the plane, on the field. If Salvi is anywhere near Hud,
And the street.
or in the street, you're going to hear Loco.
Well, Salvi, look, in my young days as a player, all the Latin players all called me the same name. So look, you're right on.
Everybody call you Loco?
When I was young, yeah, when I was a young Loco.
That's your nickname. You are.
Yeah, Salvi, how do you feel physically?
I feel great. Thank you. Seriously. And Skid talked to me after the game yesterday, after the great win yesterday. He like, I think it's gonna be good to you to get 2 days off. And okay, Skid, whatever you want. But I'm ready to play every day, and you know that.
I know, but do you? Oh man.
Wow.
Do you ever argue with Ned and ever say, Ned, come on, I want to play?
Yeah. Just depend. I think late in the season, I'm not gonna get too many days off. In August, September, and sometimes, you guys know me, so I like to play. So if I feel good to play, I will go talk to him, and he let me play. He put me back in the lineup.
Hey, Salvi, take us through your job as a catcher in the first inning when all these errors are being made and nothing's going right for Chris Medlin. And what do you do to try and get him back into the game?
You know what? That's gonna happen to everybody. The only people cannot make errors, that's the guy not play. So that's gonna happen to everybody. I just go talk to him like, hey, now you're gonna show you a good pitcher. So now we're gonna get out this inning, and everything's gonna be okay. Just keep the ball down, doing what you do, and everything's gonna be okay.
Salvi, you've always been a great catch and throw catcher. Okay?
I'm trying.
Yeah, you're a 3-time Gold Glove winner. Ooh, man. Is there anything different that you're doing this year than you would any other year?
No, I just like to, play hard, work hard, doing a little thing to help my team win. Try to be concentration every play we go call. Try to be on the same page with my pitcher. Try to do the best I can do.
Salvi, on deck right now for the Nationals is Wilson Ramos. Valencia, Venezuela's got a couple of catchers to root for.
Yeah, I know him for a long time. I'm from Valencia, La Bocaína, and he's from Valencia, Santinés. So we're like 7-10 minutes away.
Okay.
And we practice sometimes in Venezuela and Valencia too.
Salvi, who has the better arm, you or your partner?
What do you think?
Well, you're
No,
I haven't seen
you
him
answer that question.
You do, Salvi.
No, we know that, Salvi. But look, you have to admire where he put that ball last night on Terrence
That was
Gore.
impressive. Seriously, that was a great throw.
But now we're showing your highlights, Salvi. Those throws. How important is it for a strong throw or a quick release? Which one's more important?
I think quick release, because I don't think I have pretty good arm. That's what I think. But when I feel my foot quick, when I feel my arm good, my transfer quick, I feel good.
Transfer. Salvi, how about when it comes to blocking balls? We notice all the time you put your hands out in front and you don't want to catch the ball. You keep it in front. You push it in front.
Yeah, we need to use the chest protector like Pedro before. You guys know Pedro before my catching coach. So I practice with him a lot before they get in the cage. So he just try to use your body, not try to catch the ball, because if you try to catch it, the ball hit inside your gloves or something, it's gonna go somewhere. So if you try to block that pitch, to block when the chest protector is gonna stay right there.
We showed when we were showing your highlights, Salvi, we showed a couple of you throwing guys out from your knees.
And close your eyes when you block.
How long have you been throwing from your knees?
I think the last 3 years. The last 3 years.
Okay, so that's new.
That's happened because I don't remember. I got a slider away and was really good slider like down. So I just push it with my right knee, and I just throw in my knee. And after that throw, I throw the guy out, and I got something new.
Yeah, it's all about the quick release, and you're low to the ground that way.
You're right.
3-1 on Jason Worth.
Gran ball doble play. Yes.
3-2.
Salvi, the 2 off days in a row.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But you know, the game's not over. You could come in for a pinch hit. Do you have a big pinch hit in you today?
I always ready, and you guys know the game's close. Kid want me to hit, want me to catch. I'm gonna be ready for him. But it's still good. Hey, you got 48 hours rest. It's a lot.
Yeah, no, it's
like
good.
Today, coming today to the ballpark and cooked up, hacked up, to get my body a little, workout, get ready, That's good.
Salvi, you're excellent at the end of the games, dumping guys in Gatorade or water or whatever it is. Have you ever had two hug each other like last night after the walk-off?
Last year.
Okay.
Horse and Moose. So last night, I don't think Kane know. So I give you a little sign to Moose like, hey, hug Kane. So he's not going to go nowhere. And that's what he did yesterday.
So it's a little body sign language there.
Yeah, a little body sign language.
Yeah.
Couple signs.
Salvi, how heavy are those buckets? I mean, look, a guy like me, maybe Ryan, we couldn't lift that bucket, but there's a lot of water. How heavy is that?
The other day when I throw bucket on Hoss, the last day on Seattle, that was complete full. And after I throw water to him, he like coming to me, like, nobody drink water today? Like, nobody drink water today? No, it's not that heavy.
It's about 40, 50 pounds, Salvi.
I put it on my shoulder.
Well, you're a big man. Mucho fuerte.
Mucho fuerte, loco, tú sabes.
Yeah. Hey, now, the bases are loaded here with nobody out, and Medlin, he's going to be done for the day. So what will you tell him when he comes in?
I have to, wait a little bit and give it a couple times, and after that, hey, you're doing the best you can do. So just get ready for the next start, and everything's going to be okay.
Hey, Salvi, thanks a lot for spending some time with us today. It was a lot of fun.
You're the best, Salvi. Can't wait to watch you on the road in Cleveland. Come on.
Thank you, Bubba.
Or maybe a big pinch hit today.
Tú sabes.
All right.
You know.
Danny Duffy is in with the bases loaded and nobody out, just like he was on Sunday in Seattle. So a big Chevy call to the bullpen early in the game. We're in the third. For the second time in his last 3 appearances, he comes not only in the middle of the game, but he comes in the middle of a mess, as in the bases loaded and nobody out. This is what he did Sunday against Seattle in the exact same situation in the 6th inning. Struck out 2. He gave up 1 hit, which led to only 1 run. And another runner was thrown out at the plate. This is Wilson Ramos, and he takes down and away ball 1.
Okay. This young man Lee, who's new in the league, steps up. He couldn't match him, couldn't touch him. Seager, you got to go. So Duffy, with his power fastball and slider, is all he needs with that type of velocity. 94 to 98. Let that fastball hunt. And
that was the most important part of that game. The Royals had a 3-0 lead at the time. Seattle could have gotten right back into it, but they got just the 1 run, so they were in it, but still 2 runs down. And here we are now. The Royals are in the game. They're down by 4. But this right now could be the point of the game that we're talking about later, and it's a base hit for Ramos. So a run scores to make it 7-2 as Zimmerman scores. And Washington has a 5-run lead.
Well, it jammed Ramos. Ramos coming up big here lately with some big hits. Fastball. Inner half. Jammed him. Jam shot.
And now Duffy to Clint Robinson. Fastball at 96 is in for a strike. Robinson hit a sac fly in the first inning, driving in the 6th run in that 6-run first. And there's Salvi and Ramos. Let's talk to Salvi about the two are both from Valencia, Venezuela. Called strike, and it's 0-2.
Whenever a player who came up with a certain organization or played a long time with him, like Robinson, and you're playing that organization for the first time in a long time, you're going to have a little extra incentive to do something. And Robinson so far raked, and he got him another hit, so he's going to be dangerous.
Another run scores. This time it's Murphy, and for the 2nd time today the Nationals lead by 6. 8 runs, all charged to Medlin. 3 were unearned, but the 8 runs in 1 game are the most in his career.
So Robinson gets him a sacrifice fly, and now a base hit gives him 2 ribbies on the day.
And now Danny Espinosa as a right-hand batter. Worth at third, Ramos at second. He's driven in a run. Robinson at first. He has driven in a run. Espinosa grounded out to Hosmer in the first inning. Right by him at 96 miles an hour.
Is that the first time we've ever talked to Salvi in a game?
I think so.
That was fresh.
Yeah.
That was great, man. Fans, you know what? Hope we asked the right questions, you know. Let the fans know him a little bit about what his technique's like and breaking down his throwing, you know, technique. And I think it was awesome.
Kane gets behind it. Worth tags. And Worth comes to the plate. Kane's throw is a little bit late. And now a 7-run lead for Washington. So all 3 runners that Duffy inherited come around to score. And Washington, after a 6-run first inning, has added 3 in the 3rd.
Kane had plenty of time and got back on it, so he had a little momentum coming in. And Worth at 36 years young, that's no issue.
Michael Taylor opened the game with a high bouncer to third base, and Mike Moustakas got caught in between hops. Taylor reached with an error and scored the first of 6 runs in that inning. The Royals committed 3 errors in the first. Moustakas, and then Infante on a ground ball, and then Dyson in the right field corner on a double from Murphy. Ball got away from him, and Murphy ended up going to third. And now Taylor, shallow left field. Alex is coming up. So all the runners move up 90 feet. Ramos to third, Robinson to second, and the bases are loaded again.
Washington Nationals showing a little relentlessness of their own.
Well, we talked about this last night. Offensively, they could remind you a lot of the Royals, especially last year, where they have that keep the line moving approach on offense. They're aggressive. Now they have a star player who's been an MVP and put up monster numbers last year in Bryce Harper, but other than that, their offense is very balanced, 1 through 9. 7 for 9 with runners in scoring position today. And another guy swinging at the first pitch. Rendon reached on the air by Infante in the first inning. And he bats with Ramos at third. Robinson is at second and Taylor's at first.
You know, they're not exactly barreling Duffy up, but they're on his fastball. He's going to have to try to see if he can hit some corners, stay out of the middle, because they all know that fastball's coming. They know the scouting report on Duffy. Fastball, slider, occasional change.
Up the middle, Infante backhands. They get the out at second base, and another run scores. Taylor is cut down. Ramos comes to the plate. And now Washington leads 10-2.
There was a time in Danny Duffy's early career that he would have tried to put his hand up there to stop that ball. And now look at him. He realizes, hey, look, I got a great defense behind me. I'm not going to jeopardize getting hurt by doing that. Sign of maturity right there. He ducked and didn't even try for that ball. That's good.
Slider down and away to Bryce Harper. Big matchup between these two in game 1 on Monday. Duffy came on with 2 outs in the 8th inning to face Harper and struck him out. Struck him out looking with a fastball. This is the second time in 3 innings that the Nationals have batted 9. One and one. Harper, when the Nationals arrived, had been hitless in a series with St. Louis over the weekend. He was 0 for 11 in that series. He is 2 for 11 in this series. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And he appears, at least to this point, falling into that category of not seeing the ball well. No swing. Field and Colbreth is the third base umpire.
You're watching Harper now for the 3rd game in a row. Interesting to watch him. We talked about him last night hitting off his front side. Watch how he charges forward, but he stiffens up that right leg. That right leg stiffens up, and then on contact he gets a good whip and some resistance there. That's where he gets his power, off of his front side, not his backside. And then he uses that leg to control his forward movement. He's keeping his body back. Watch him. That's gonna stop him. That right foot stops him. And all in the same swing, you develop power in your hips and legs. That's how you use your hips. Hitting's not all about hands. It's important, you know. I stress hands more than lower body sometimes, but look, you got to use that lower half, especially for the power that this kid has.
Duffy strikes him out for a 2nd time in this series. However, right after the Royals got 2 in the bottom of the 2nd inning, the Nationals respond with 4. Nationals to the bottom of the third inning. And time for our Sprint trivia question. Who holds the Expos/Nationals club record for most outfield assists in a season? Well, they had some great arms. Andre Dawson. Here's one for you. How about Ellis Valentine? He had one of the best arms of his era. Larry Walker spent some time with the Montreal Expos. 1 ball and 1 strike from Strasburg to Lorenzo Cain. Warren Cromartie have a good arm?
Absolutely did. That guy's one of my heroes, Ryan. You know, one of the reasons why he had such a successful career in Japan. And I read his book while I was over there, and it really helped me in my first month there get a little bit of idea what the season was going to be like. So Cromartie became one of my heroes.
Big star over there.
Huge
Played
star.
there for a long time.
And as Strasburg continues to hit his spots, Cromartie is one of the ex-players of one of the many Expo players that are beating the drum to bring baseball back to Montreal. He's the head of all of it, and they've been very successful the last 2 seasons, maybe 3, of having those spring training exhibition games there with the Blue Jays that come in there, and there's 45-50,000 people there. So he's trying to get baseball back. So there's the whole Warren Cromartie deal. A lot of respect for him.
Unfortunately, he just didn't hit a lot of home runs.
Yeah, no,
to make our trivia questions.
No, but you know,
but a heck of a guy.
Yeah, you know how sometimes I'll throw names in there out of nowhere because they're my favorites. I just give them a little love.
There's Dylan G. He appeared in last night's game, but only pitched 1 inning. 2-1 on Eric Hosmer. Espinoza comes over to the right side of second base, and that's the second out of the third inning. Wichita State Day is coming up on May 28th as the Royals host the White Sox. The first 2,000 fans who bring their Wichita State themed ticket to the designated table will receive a limited edition gray, black, and gold branded KC cap, courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City and Rally House. So join your fellow Wichita State fans for an afternoon of Royals baseball. You can purchase those theme tickets at royals.com/theme tickets.
In case anybody wants to know that book that I read that Warren Cromartie wrote, it's titled "Slugging It Out in Japan."
And I imagine both literally at the plate and figuratively adapting to the culture
off the field. Talk about being in a different country. I mean, you know that language there. You know a little bit of Spanish here because the players all talk it. As a player, you know it. You kind of know all the words. But over there, they had 3 different dialects, 3 different ways they wrote their papers, the newspapers. They had 3 different kinds of Japanese writing. I'm not sure the word you use there. Can you
Japanese alphabet?
Yeah, but they had
Japanese characters.
Yeah, 3 different ways to write. So it was impossible to learn how to write the language, and so whenever they wrote bad things about you in the paper, who cares? You couldn't read it anyway. Right. So it's like
it was all just Japanese to you.
So yeah, and I'm just going to show up and play baseball. That's the only thing I know how to do.
Center field. Taylor started in and now back, and he makes a play. So Strasburg gets 4 more runs in the top of the third and has a 1-2-3 bottom of the third. 13,000 kids from area schools are here today, and Fox Sports Kansas City would like to welcome to the 18th annual Fox 4 School Day at the K. Students joined in meteorology lessons, experiments, and a science and safety fair, and now enjoying the game.
Make sure you have those safety glasses on.
And somewhere amongst the 13,000 kids is Joel Goldberg.
Yeah, I think all 13,000 of them are right here in this section. We're up in the upper deck along the third base line, and all these kids in green here from Leawood Elementary. Fifth graders, we got Ellie here right now. Okay, tell us about all those cool explosions and everything you saw. What'd you see on the field?
I saw a cloud that was like made from different like liquid nitrogen and stuff.
And stuff. Did you learn anything?
No.
Oh, come on, you're here. This is a field trip. You're here to learn. I got to ask you this now. Who is your favorite or favorite players?
Drew Butera and Salvador Perez.
So you got the catchers covered.
Yeah, pretty much.
You got a favorite broadcaster by any chance?
Jeff Montgomery.
Jeff Monty? Ryan, how about that? I mean, no love for HUD or for you?
Or maybe her father?
Or maybe her father. Where's the love, Ellie Goldberg?
Not with you.
Oh, come on. Look at that. You know, now when she wants something, she knows how to turn it on a little bit. And let me tell you something about this girl. She's got Royals fever, right? So are you disappointed that your favorite player, Salvador Perez, is not in there? Or are you just awestruck by Drew Butera? Meh? Are you nervous? With all these kids all around you, all your fifth graders, are you nervous right now? There's only like thousands of them.
Kind of nervous.
Kind of nervous, and she's the performer. Mason is the hockey and baseball player, and this is the one that acts, but apparently TV is a different situation. But have you not been waiting for your moment at School Day at the K for 2 years?
I've been waiting since Mason, trying to be better than him.
All right, you're bad luck, although we won't blame the other ones on you. Another home run. Ryan, there you go, Ellie Goldberg, and unfortunately, same result.
Thanks for doing that, Joel. As Daniel Murphy homers for the second time in the series. 4 home runs for the Nationals in the last 2 games.
Slider that didn't slide much. Stayed out over the middle of the plate. He's able to get his barrel on it. Turns it, gets it up in that wind. Nice little gale going to right. That on contact, you knew that was a homer. Had some good height to it. Wind's going to push it.
And some bragging rights run the line there. Former Mets teammates Dylan G and Daniel Murphy.
How about that? Right. And also, Murphy won't say it publicly. He won't tell the media that any of that, but inside he's got a little revenge factor. He says, you know what, I got a chance to come back to here. Last time I was here, they humbled us. Now it's my turn. Tester.
And Infante brings it down to get Jason Worth. I thought Ellie did a nice job.
I did too. Beautiful smile.
It would have been nice if Joel could have rehearsed at home this morning, you know, instead of putting her on the spot.
That was a little bit strong of him. Thank goodness she looks like Susan.
Heard.
Look at him. He's a star. Look,
absolutely.
He's basking in the love and the glory there. Although she said he was not her favorite broadcaster.
Said, yeah, what about me? No, not so much.
You're just dad.
Was it a bad week for allowance or what?
Come on, Joel.
Well, yeah, we'll work on the allowance. It's just been cut off. I will admit that when we had Mason on a couple of years ago, I put him up to saying his favorite announcer was Rex Hudler. But I think we got home late enough with the longer game last night that we did not, Ellie and I, have a chance to discuss. So I didn't know. I thought if she wanted something, she would say me. Clearly, she doesn't want anything today. Or maybe she's just going to ask Monty for it.
Uncle Monty.
Yeah.
And now Clint Robinson, he's driven in 2 runs. And that ball's up the right field line and foul.
Everything the Nationals are touching with their bat is falling in. Surprised that one didn't stay fair.
Clinton Robinson had a very impressive minor league career with the Royals. He won a triple crown in the Texas League in 2010, and then the next year at AAA he drove in 100 runs. And remember, that's a 5-month season.
I got here in 2012 and went down to the minors to kind of get educated on some of their talent down there. And when I saw him and I saw his numbers, how big he was, and I was telling myself, this is a big league hitter here who's in the wrong place at the wrong time. He's going to emerge. If he doesn't quit and give up on himself, he's going to become a big leaguer. You got Eric Hosmer in front of you, you're not going anywhere. Takes the walk. Some guys you can tell are going to be big leaguers. They just can't give up on themselves. You got to stay at it. It's not easy to be one of the world's best. You got to work at it. And you got to persevere. And when you get your chance, you show what you got. This is why they call baseball the show.
And now Danny Espinosa. Robinson, by the way, is a first baseman, and as he leads off of first base, the reason he never really got a long look for the Royals in the big leagues is because of the guy who's at first base right now. Robinson did get to the Royals for a brief time in 2012, but at that point Eric Hosmer was already here. The Royals also had Billy Butler as the designated hitter, and there just simply wasn't any room for him in this organization.
Happens to a lot of players. He's not the first one that's happened to. Butera trying to get G down in the zone and on the corners.
Hit well to right field. Dyson is there, and that ends the inning. So Murphy homers, and that adds to Washington's lead. It is 11-2 to the bottom of the fourth. Which means the kids control the hot dog race. Got a little physical with Relish and Ketchup to the very end, and Relish won and then face planted into the warning track.
Ooh, he staggered him. I'm going to give it to him though on effort.
Wow. Tell you, when they go down in those hot dog outfits, I mean, they are down right now.
Yeah, you wonder if they're top heavy, because we a lot like you're right. You've seen a ton of those, and we watched them. And you're right, when they go down, I mean, it's like there's a lead weight in their head.
Was he losing? He's losing his pants too.
Ooh, man, look at that, huh?
Yeah, he goes home with a dirty uniform.
He's
though.
beautiful.
Right?
Look at the smile. Way to go. Good effort.
Cutter makes it 1-2 on Alex Gordon. Strasburg struck him out in the second inning. Strasburg has struck out 4. If you're just tuning in and looking at the score and going, what in the world happened? Well, the Nationals got 6 runs in the first inning. 3 of the runs were unearned. The Royals got 2 in the second, but then Washington added 4 in the third inning and 1 in the fourth. Two balls and 2 strikes.
For a player, you know, even though the game's a little lopsided right now, for the Royals, they had to focus and concentrate and facing one of the game's best young pitchers. So the challenge is on. I mean, there's no such thing as, oh, we're going to just throw the white flag in there. There's a lot to be accomplished out here with a long way to go in this game. There you go.
Well, and if there's something to be accomplished, even if the Royals fall short today, maybe it's that swing by Alex Gordon to get him back on track.
That's right. That was the beautiful one, but last night was a special one. Look at that. That might help him right there. That's what Alex needs to do right there. Short to the ball. Not a big hipsy long swing pulling off of it. Keep the shoulder in, go with the pitch and guide it, and then you'll start recognizing your pitch you can hit out.
And now Infante grounds it out to Murphy, who bobbles. No outs.
I think there's a little half-hearted Bronx cheer there, or we'll say Kansas City cheer. Murphy helped the Royals last year, and as he takes his head off the ball, he didn't look at it, took his eyes off the ball. See how he's looking up? He wasn't watching it into his glove, and helps the Royals again. See if the Royals can capitalize. Be on the attack, be on the aggressive, you know, and just keep chipping away with so much time left in the game. I guarantee you, Royals players think they're going to win this game. Those guys right now, it's only the 4th inning. If it was later in the game, they go, well, you know. But the way that these guys believe in themselves and the comebacks they've had, historical comebacks we've witnessed the last 2 years, in the postseason even with this team. Now, they weren't down this many runs, but we may not believe that they can come back, but they do. That's the important thing.
Dyson's ahead, 2 balls and 1 strike. Two and two. One big key to last night's come from behind win are Kubota power stats, and the Royals' recent struggles. We've talked so much about their lack of hitting with runners in scoring position. They had been in a 3 out of 33 funk, but they went 5 for 10 last night, and then in the last 2 innings When the Royals scored 4 runs, they were 3 out of 5 with a runner in scoring position. Cutter is inside, 3-2 on Dyson. They are 1 for 3 today against Steven Strasburg.
Dyson's looking fastball all the way here. If Strasburg throws him a secondary pitch, you know, more power to him, but I would believe he'll challenge him here.
Grounded out to Murphy again. Out at second. And this time a ground ball to Murphy turns into a double play. And that was with Dyson running.
Well, I think he slipped coming out of the box. Let's see. Oh, yeah, he went down. Pretty nice recovery, though. I mean, he made it that close. He went down to a knee. It's unfortunate because he would have beaten that out.
Gordon goes to third on the play, and up comes Drew Butera. On the ground to Rendon. And that is the inning. So a good start. The Royals had 2 on, nobody out. The double play was big. At the end of 4, Washington leads 11-2. Washington to the 5th inning. They scored 6 in the top of the 1st inning, and that was with 3, count them, 3 Royals errors and a wild pitch.
Highly unusual. Don't remember the last time I saw it, although I believe it happened in 13. These are all routine plays for the best defense. And you know, it wasn't any particular bad bounces or anything. I think just a little bit of misjudgment.
Taylor jumps on the first pitch from Dylan G. And Lorenzo Cain moves toward left center field. Taylor is 1 for 4. Our greater coverage of baseball is brought to you by T-Mobile. What a night for Justin Smoak of the Blue Jays. He tied the game in the 9th inning with a home run against Texas, and then he won it with a home run in the 10th. Jake Arrieta is now 6-0 with an ERA well under 1. And the Royals, who just lost 2 out of 3 to Seattle over the weekend. Seattle's on quite a roll. Mariners now lead the West with a half-game lead over Texas.
Who will win the Cy Young Award in the National League? That's going to be a tough call right now. Man, you got Syndergaard, Arrieta, Kershaw, Strasburg. I mean, So far, their pitching skills are ahead of hitting skills, that's for sure. I mean, just dominant performances by these guys.
Very late swing by Rendon.
What a great game it is to bond with your family members. You know, the other sports, they're fun, they're exciting, but there's so much movement and so much noise that it's not like a baseball game. If you want to get to know somebody, you want a business trip to get to know somebody, bring your friends out, bring your business associates, bring out your grandparents. Great time to pick up with the family here at the K. Fans love it. Great attendances for the short 3-game homestand.
Game 1 on Monday night, 32,000 plus. Last night, almost 34,000, and they got a thrilling victory. Tough one today, but this is probably the biggest crowd. Rendon is down on strikes, 2 away in the 5th inning. As you know, there is no better way to spend your Friday night than at Kauffman Stadium for baseball and fireworks. Our first summer fireworks show immediately follows the Royals and the Braves on Friday, May 13th. Summer fireworks courtesy of Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Tickets at Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS. There it is, a packed Kauffman Stadium on a weekday afternoon with school in session, and that's because 13,000 of the area elementary school children are here. Bryce Harper high and deep into the right field corner.
That's enough.
And a home run. 5 home runs for the Washington Nationals in the last 2 games. All solo home runs, by the way. And for Harper, that is his 10th.
The right swing on the right day for that fly ball. Harper been struggling a little bit. Curveball, he got on the inner half, catches right underneath it, and with the 20-mile-an-hour wind pushing out like that, that's all it took. That ball was out when he hit it, and he knew it.
So it's 12-2 Washington. One ball and 1 strike on Ryan Zimmerman. 10 home runs, 25 RBIs for Bryce Harper. Better numbers at this point compared to last year when he went on to win the National League MVP award. Zimmerman is out. The Nationals have scored in 4 of 5 innings so far today, and they lead by 10. Washington leads 12-2, and before you experience one of the greatest comebacks in Royals history, Rex Hudler had a chance to visit with Nationals manager Dusty Baker.
Hey, I got to ask you, during my humble career, I played for some great skippers, and you were one of them, but only 30 days in spring training, Bake.
Then you got hurt.
You fired me.
No, you got hurt.
Why'd you fire me?
Man, I didn't fire you.
Bake, I went on and had my best 3 years after that, man.
Yeah,
with the Angels.
I motivated you.
You motivate a lot of guys.
Yeah.
I got to see your style. Loved how you're comfortable with everybody. What is that quality like for a manager? Almost you were like a teammate. So it's hard to tell if you were a manager, my boss, or a teammate.
Right.
The way your personality and the way you blend.
But you know something, you didn't do anything to get out of line. You know, like if you get out of line, then the boss comes out. But I don't have to tell you I'm the boss. You know what I mean? And I really have been where you were at that time. You know, I've struggled like you might have. I've done well like you might have. You know what I mean? And
Very rarely.
Yeah.
19 years you got in as a player.
Yeah.
Now 21 as a manager.
Right.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, but it's gone by so quickly. That's why I tell these guys, try to enjoy some of this, because some of them are so stiff and so serious about everything. You got to enjoy some of this, because man, this goes by very, very quickly. And the worst thing that I've seen guys in their careers and never really enjoyed it. So you got to enjoy it, but at the same time, you got to work. You got to realize somebody's always trying to take your job, and never really get comfortable.
Big, thanks for giving us some time here in Kansas City, and best of luck after you leave the K.
I figured you were gonna say that.
Thanks. Look at those wristbands. Check out the bands. They're beautiful.
I'm gonna give you some of those.
I love it. I want them. Thanks, Big. There you go.
You're crazy. You're still crazy.
Hey, why would he say that about you?
Well, you know what? It's about character, and he's got it. All the experience. Love his advice. This guy, congratulations, Washington Nationals, for hiring a skipper like him. Bringing him out of retirement, a couple years off. This guy's magic. He's got a way with players. He's got a way with the game. The history he knows. All that stuff is really impressive. And I'm so happy that Joe Vincius, our producer, let me go down there and talk to my friend. And really, that's what players feel the manager is. A friend. And you want to play for that friend. You want to back him. You want to take a bullet for him. You'll crash into the wall to make a play for a guy that loves on you like he does.
Was there more to that interview, or was that it?
No, there was. I asked him about Bryce Harper. I said, we've all watched him over the last few years, but now that you're here with him, what's the thing that impresses you the most about him?
And we can hear his answer to that later in the game. I'm going to say, you didn't sit down with Dusty Baker and just ask him 2 questions, did you?
Look, I'm no Joe Goldberg, okay? Look, but we're going to check out Harper when he comes up next.
Strasburg, 1-2-3 fifth inning with 2 more strikeouts. Routing the Royals. 12-2 here in the 6th inning. We had a chance to sit down with Dusty Baker.
I had a chance, asked him about his young superstar, Bryce Harper.
The thing about Bryce is I don't think I've ever mentioned a name to him that he didn't know. And I was really impressed with how he handles kids. Like he signs autographs every day.
Nice.
And I notice how intense he is and how focused he is during the game. And he went to the the Negro League Hall of Fame with us today. And I mean, he was excited and he was paying attention like he was in class. And I was like, how you sort of notice things about people and different things.
He was digging it.
Yeah, he was digging it. Plus he's a good dresser. I mean, he's hip. I told him he got that Chris Isaac haircut. You know what I mean? So.
How about Dusty Baker knowing who Chris Isaac is?
Wow,
that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
I told you he's hip with all the new stuff in this generation. He's been able to change and mold himself as the years have gone on.
Paulo Orlando is now in right field. And he pushes Gerard Dyson over to center. So Kane is out and Christian Colon replaces Mike Moustakas at third. And the new Royals pitcher is Chin-Ming Wong. And I think what Dusty Baker was getting at, without saying it, is that a lot of today's players don't know much about baseball history. Daniel Murphy is a triple shy of hitting for the cycle. That's his second single. He's also doubled and homered. He has scored 3 and driven in 3. But today's player, and this is true for every generation. I mean, I'm sure players that came up in the 70s were criticized by the veterans that they didn't know baseball history. But Bryce Harper, we hear, and Dusty Baker confirms it, is not only interested in baseball today, but baseball back then. And Joel shared with us on Monday that one of the players he admired, obviously watching on videotape, was George Brett, and plays with maybe not the exact same, but a lot of the same intensity that George played with. George was with us on Monday night and considered that a huge compliment.
Yeah, but that's impressive for a young man as young as he is to take time and be concerned about the history of the game. And this is a guy, Harper, we talked about him being on the cover of Sports Illustrated as a young teenager. He knew this is going to be his profession all along, so he probably was studying them back in his early days. He was studying baseball.
And how about the pressure of being 16 years old? He hasn't even played college baseball yet, and called the chosen one.
Wow.
On the cover of Sports Illustrated.
That guy is
the most
star.
Exciting prodigy since LeBron. No pressure there. And I'm sure that wasn't Tom Verducci's idea for the title on the cover. He just wrote the story.
Love it. See the hills of Las Vegas in the background there, where he grew up.
Training with Chris Bryant.
All right. Similar swings too. A little bit. Bryant from the right side, but has that natural uppercut to his swing. Let's take a look at the home run swing here off Dylan G. Came right down through the ball, caught the back underside, got the backspin. That's the key for getting him out of the park lots of times. Some guys hit top spin homers with their top hand, but you got to be really strong to do that, especially here at the K. Play the elements.
How about a day for Wilson Ramos? How about a series for Wilson Ramos? 3 hits today. And for the Nationals, that is 14 hits in 5 1/3 innings. Now you fall into that old school type of a player mentality. What did you think about Bryce Harper's comments about, and maybe he didn't use the best words when he said baseball is tired, but just his feeling that this game is void of expression compared to the other sports, basketball, football, maybe even hockey.
I appreciate him speaking his mind. They're totally different sports. Baseball is played every single day. You're facing the media before the game, after the game. They're coming up to you, asking you questions every day. And it's a long season, so you know what? Guys pace themselves. It's a more calmer game. The more relaxed you are, the better you are a baseball player. I had a hard time because I was a live wire. I was always wanting to go, 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 and it hurt me.
Murphy will be waved home, and Clint Robinson in his first game against the Royals, the organization that drafted and developed him, has 3 RBIs, and Washington leads 13-2. And I think people in Kansas City could relate to what Bryce Harper had to say, because one of the most endearing qualities of the Royals is how much energy and emotion that they play with. Not in a way to show up their opponent, but the Royals, I've always said, the Royals play the game the way most people would imagine what it would be like to be in the major leagues. So when you played Little League or you played high school and you got a big hit, or one of your teammates got a big hit, everyone's jumping up and down in the dugout and high-fiving each other and, you know, showing excitement. But somewhere along the way in baseball's history, once you got to the major leagues, that was tamped down. You know, you don't do that. Even keeled. Don't get too excited. Don't get too down. Don't show up your opponent. Act like you've been here before. And I agree with Bryce Harper. Those are just tired cliches. As long as you're not, I mean, if you're celebrating a big hit in a big game, how is that disrespectful to the game?
I'd like to have $1 for every veteran. Every time a veteran would tell me, act like you've been here before. You're exactly right. I mean, the game is passed down generation after generation after generation. That's a player, especially when he gets 8 to 10 years in. He's getting close to the end of his career. That time, you know you're going to be gone.
Dyson makes the play. Espinosa is the second out.
You know you're going to be out of the game soon. So now you're starting to go, wow, well, what's my contribution to baseball? Giving the game back to the young players, giving them advice, spending time with them, helping them. And that's how you get that passed down.
Hope you'll join us here on Sunday, May 15th, as we salute the Negro Leagues. Make sure to purchase a theme ticket to receive an exclusive Charlie Hustle brand t-shirt, a seat for the Royals game, and contribute a $5 donation to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. No balls and 1 strike on Michael Taylor. So I think for a lot of fans, you know, and younger fans these days, they watch baseball and they think, gosh, how cool would it be to get a big hit in the big leagues? And then you watch a player get a big hit in the big leagues and you think, oh, well, I guess it's not that cool because he just put his head down and went in the dugout and got a couple pats on the back. But I think the Royals are, there have been individuals along the way, but I think the Royals are responsible as a team of bringing some of that joy, youthful enthusiasm to the major league level.
And it's welcomed.
Good talk, Hud. Good talk. Hope for after the exciting walk-off victory last night. The Nationals lead 13-2, and we're only in the bottom of the 6th inning. Eric Hosmer will lead off our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Marla Stuckey from Pratt. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Marla wins $900. If the Royals hit a grand slam, Marla wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. Eric Hosmer, Kendrys Morales, and Alex Gordon. Steven Strasburg has allowed 2 runs on 5 hits. He has allowed just 1 hit in the last 3 innings.
Attacks the strike zone. Both sides, down, up, all over. This kid's got a really blessed arm.
Our Missouri Lottery Fox tracks, and Eric Hosmer might be experiencing the 13-2 strike zone. 1-2.
It's a good point.
C.B. Buckner is the home plate umpire. Jamaica-born C.B. Buckner.
Remember, they're going to catch a flight after the game too and leave. And it's not like the players. They have to go through the airport. They don't have a chartered jet waiting for them. Those guys all pack into one car and they throw all their bags and all their luggage in there and they head off just like everyone else does. They go to the airport, get there early as they can, and it's a tough schedule for them. Think about it. Umpires.
And they don't have homestands.
Good point.
Right? I
Yeah,
mean, they
you're
can't
right.
look forward to, it's a long trip, but we got a 10-game homestand coming up. If they're lucky, they live in a city where there's a major league team. And they do get vacation during the season, so they'll get a week off or so, and that's when we'll see one of the minor league fill-ins. But that's 1 week, and maybe, let's say a guy lives in Kansas City. I don't think there are any umpires who live in Kansas City, but if they did, then they're fortunate. If their team happens to be here for a Royal Series, they can be home for a few days. But other than that, it's on the road for 6 months straight.
I wonder how
7 strikeouts for Strasburg. Sorry, Hud.
No, I wonder how many weeks they get off during the summer. Maybe we'll have to get Goldberg on that one. Joel, that's a job for Joel. He's good buddies with those guys.
And now Kendrys Morales. So, Joel, do you have an answer to that question?
I think it's more than a week. I'll have to find the answer out on that for you. But I think the thing that strikes me the most is what Hud was saying, what you guys were saying, is that they're gone from their families almost nonstop. They don't have a homestand, and then they get shifted around a lot. The one thing that we don't hear regarding umpires compared to players is injury reports, and they might have knee surgery or a bad back or concussions, and they deal with injuries all the time. And so when one guy gets hurt, they might pull a guy from a crew and shift him somewhere else because they don't want, say, 3 young guys or 2 call-ups on a minor league crew. So they've got, these crews are supposed to look one way, but they change on a regular basis, and you can kind of figure out the seniority with the crew chief and then who will be known as the 2-man. But they've got to work with a lot of different combinations, and when they do have that chance to get home. And Hud, you mentioned packing the bags and all that kind of stuff too. You go to a city that might have hot weather one day and cold weather another day, you're talking about putting a lot more into that trunk.
Just knock it off, all right? Go ahead, you're saying.
And now C.B. Buckner is
Hosmer
going to hear it.
Haas is giving. Oh,
And he's
he ran him. He ran Haas. And Haas is a little bit frustrated with some of the calls of C.B. Buckner, and like I said earlier, these guys they're competing against Strasburg. They might see him in the World Series. You never know. So this is an important game for them, even though it's a blowout. And Hosmer didn't appreciate C.B. Buckner's getaway day calls. That's what it came over, and Haas chirped. Dude, he's not done either. Ooh.
Well, we don't know how long this was going on. I can't think it was going on too long because Hosmer was just at the plate. And at the same time, in a game like this, C.B. Buckner might be the only one in the ballpark that knows that Eric Hosmer was yelling at him. Now, if he was arguing with him at home plate and that carried on for too long. Okay, that's one thing, but of the 30+ thousand that are here today, how many people do you think knew that Eric Hosmer was yelling at the home plate umpire, and maybe the umpire just needs to shut off that right ear?
Very small percentage.
Heisey now in left field makes the play. 3 up, 3 down. It is the 7th inning. Washington leads by 11. That away, Kelly. Easy. Wow, that's 3 bites in one for most people. Well, we mentioned Salvi possibly coming into the game, and as Eric Hosmer is ejected, Paulo Orlando and Christian Colon had just gone into the game. Orlando in right, Colon at third. So Salvi and Terrence Gore were the only Royals still on the bench. So Salvi plays first base for just the 3rd time in his major league career. He played first, I want to say, the very last regular season game of 2014 in Chicago. Remember?
That's right.
Make that 2013. That's right. The Royals had been eliminated from the playoffs in Seattle on that final road trip. Then they went to Chicago. And remember, Salvi had some trouble with the sun on a pop-up at first base, as he loved it, his teammates loved it. And he gets tested right away. Good stretch, good form. And the crowd loves it. Salvi got a huge ovation when he was announced into the game, and an even bigger ovation as he handles that easy throw from Chin-Ming Wang.
Well, I have a comparable for Salvi over there at first base, and it would be a compliment to Salvador Perez. If I'm gonna tell him tomorrow when I see him on the airplane, you look like Andres Galarraga, the Grande Gato, star Venezuelan, has some of the best numbers as a big leaguer out of that country. And that's who he looks like. Galarraga was a big man, and they called him Grande Gato because he was a big cat and he could run. He had quickness, that he could move left and right. He was a fantastic player in his day. And you know what else? He had as big a smile as Salvi. He played with joy, the same kind of energy. I believe he hit 400 home runs or 399. He ended his career with 399. Galarraga.
Salvi's having a tremendous conversation with Jim Reynolds, the first base umpire. He'll get tested again, this time from Cologne. Oh, Salvi. The crowd loves it. Don't miss out on the first of 5 special bobbleheads of the 2016 season. Saturday, May 14th, with the Braves in town, the first 20,000 fans through the gates will get a Ned Yost bobblehead presented by Commerce Bank. All of the bobbleheads commemorate the 2015 World Series championship run and showcase special moments from the postseason. Just like last year's bobblehead collection, Alex short hops it in left field. And that's a base hit for Ryan Zimmerman, his 3rd hit of the game.
Zimmerman messing with Salvi, saying, hey, I should have pushed a bunt to you.
And now Daniel Murphy, who has 4 hits. He is a triple shy of hitting for the cycle. He has tied a career high with his 4 hits. And if there's a place to hit a triple, Kauffman Stadium is it. Wong throws the strikes. Christian Guzman was the first Nationals player to hit for the cycle. Guzman was later traded to the Rangers, and someone who was considered a throw-in in that trade was Tanner Roark.
Good move there. That's a great trade.
One ball, 2 strikes.
No, you can get triples, really doesn't have to be in one area. Like some ballparks aren't triples ballparks. And there's only one spot you hit it in where you have a chance. But here, you're right. I mean, right field line probably is the best. Now, we're not pulling for him to hit for the cycle, but it's a rare occasion that happens.
2-2.
Game like this, though, why not? Bad experience that Murphy had last year in October here at the K. Come back with the Nationals, and he's raking.
Murphy is making sure everybody's all right. That ball was hit just beyond the extended netting past the dugouts.
He just tried to guide that down the left field line.
Dyson runs into left center field, and that's the inning. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. All Washington today. At the K, 13,000 kids are here today. There's a Mazda game break. Day off tomorrow. Then the Royals will head to Cleveland for a 3-game weekend series, and then New York after that for 4 games against the Yankees. All 3 games on Fox Sports Kansas City beginning on Friday night, Saturday late afternoon, and then Sunday afternoon to wrap up that Indian series. It'll be the first time that the Royals have faced Cleveland this year. Yordano Ventura, Ian Kennedy, and Edinson Volquez will start the 3 games in Cleveland. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, you know, you're up all night fighting crime and eating pizza. You know, that'll wear you down the next day, even if you're at a ball game.
So the Ninja Turtles are struggling today.
Now my boys would be able to tell me who the orange Ninja Turtle is. I don't think that's Michelangelo.
No.
Omar Infante lines it to left field, and Heisey makes a play. Infante is 1 for 3.
You know, weather being the theme today here at the K this morning, it's interesting. You know, there's so much weather. Weather to me is one of the most interesting things there are on our earth, and you know, it's a good educational program. But you know, keep in mind there's kids from different parts of the country come in here in Kansas City, maybe from the West Coast, or not used to having weather. Like my kids, take for example. We didn't see, you don't hear thunderstorms. There's no thunder and lightning in Southern California. So when my kids got here and other kids, they're in shock when they hear, man, I got a special needs little boy, and he hears this rumbling outside. I mean, big thunder, and he's like, what the heck is this? So it's been an adjustment for some people, but I love the demonstrations they do.
Explosions.
Yeah.
Foaming things.
I like that one.
Burning things.
Notice the safety goggles. Whoa.
Well, Ellie Goldberg, Joel's daughter, was Joel's guest, and she's a 5th grader, and I think she summed up what it was like for a lot of kids. You know, did you learn a lot about the weather? Not really, but did you enjoy it? Yeah. I mean, they were blowing up things and burning things. And here's Drew Butera against Yusmeiro Petit. Matt Dendecker in right field makes the play. So Petit, who's 256 pounds, gets the Royals 1-2-3 in the 7th inning. Perez, he took over at first base last inning. Eric Hosmer was ejected from the game after an argument with home plate umpire C.B. Bucknor. Saturday, MLB on FS1 is back with 2 monster games featuring some of baseball's best players. It all starts as the Rangers take on the Tigers in a game you'll only see on FS1, and then the Nationals head to Wrigley to take on the Cubs. The action begins at 11:30 a.m. on FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Terrence Gore, who appeared in the game last night as a pinch runner. So Gore had gone from April the 18th to May the 2nd without appearing in a game, and then was a pinch runner last night, and now takes over in left field for Alex Gordon. And Kelvin Herrera will pitch the top of the 8th inning. He is the 5th Royals pitcher today. The Royals have an off day tomorrow, so I think Ned Yost will be able to get through this game today without having to pitch a position player.
Yeah, we were talking about that around the 5th and 6th innings. Who possibly could it be? And then when Haas got thrown out, that kind of took Salvi off the bench.
Now Drew Butera has a lot of experience pitching, at least for a position player. Hit well to left field, so Gore is tested right away, and he's back to make the play. That's Heisey's first at bat. He's 0 for 1. I have Drew Butera down for 3 different appearances as a pitcher. 2012 and then twice in 2014. And in 2 of those outings, they were scoreless innings. Here's the catcher, Wilson Ramos. He has a 3-hit game today. Herrera throws it by him at 98 miles an hour. Did you ever get to pitch?
No.
You would seem like a perfect candidate.
I was. You know, I could have played all 9, but you know, you really have to have favor with your manager to get to do that. That's a special thing, and I never had that kind of favor. But you know, when you're an extra guy and you have blowout games like this, you think about it in the dugout. I mean, we were thinking about it in here. I'm sure some of the guys in there were thinking about it in the Royals dugout. Well, it's nice to have on your resume. I'm sure Drew's proud of that. Well, I've never talked to him about pitching.
Over the outside, 2 up and 2 down. Let's take a look at some other scores from around Major League Baseball. Panera takes us around the league. The Chicago Cubs, my, they are 20-6 as they beat the Pirates. Cincinnati hit 3 home runs in 1 inning against Jake Peavy, and they beat San Francisco 7-4. Robinson grounds out. And the Mets shut out Atlanta. We'll see the Braves during the next homestand. 13-2 Washington to the bottom of the 8th. Over 38,000 here today on a sunny day in Kansas City, and over 15,000 kids. They saw a lot of Washington offense and a lot of Steven Strasburg pitching over his 6 innings.
Extremely impressed. He came in today as advertised. A guy who attacks the strike zone with all 4 pitches. Comes right at the hitters.
Yusmeiro Petit came on for Strasburg in the 7th inning and got the Royals 1-2-3. Now he gets the top of the order. Escobar, Colon, and Orlando. Our Toyota League leaders for today. Highest strikeouts per 9 innings all time with at least 100 starts, and Steven Strasburg, whose career is in some ways just getting going, second only to Randy Johnson. And remember when Mark Pryor and Kerry Wood were teammates in Chicago.
Washington Nationals, if they stay healthy, it could be the Nationals and the Cubs to see who goes to the World Series. Tough to predict baseball, and it's early in the season. These 2 teams are showing how dominant they are early.
I just showed you Dusty Baker after talking about Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor. He had those 2 guys when he was managing the Cubs.
That's right.
A lot of smiles today. He's laughing with Jock Jones. Remember Jock Jones with Minnesota? He was part of that Twins, if you want to call it, dynasty, winning 6 divisions in 9 years.
Good hitter too.
Great guy. I remember 2002, Minnesota opened here, and the Royals had high hopes. Minnesota had a strong finish to 2001, and Minnesota opened here on opening day. It was about 80 degrees, and the wind was just blasting out. And Jock Jones, on the 2nd pitch of the season, went opposite field into the water in left field, and 42,000 people all just went, oh. Like the worst beginning to a season you can imagine. Den Decker out in right field. You know, I quoted Jock Jones a lot last year when the Twins, the Twins during that time, very much like the Royals now. Homegrown players, won together in the minor leagues, athletes, great bullpen, good defensively, good fundamentally. And I remember when the Twins were really starting to win, and I asked Jock Jones, I said, how would you describe your team's chemistry? And he said, well, let me give you an example. 2nd and 3rd, we're down by 1 in the 8th inning. I come to the plate, and if I decide I'm going to drive in the run because I want RBIs for me, I'm going to swing at anything close because I'm thinking about myself. He goes, but when you're on a team with guys that you like and you pull for, if I don't get a pitch to hit, I'm happy taking a walk, because if the guy on deck gets a base hit and wins the game, good for him. I'm willing to sacrifice my glory for someone else because I want to win the game. I have trust in the guy on deck. And I mean, I thought that was a great way to explain, when guys enjoy playing together and there's chemistry. It's hard to come up with a statistic, but that's a good way to describe the Royals and what they've done the past couple of years.
Great story.
Tough day today. Good day for Jock Jones and his hitters. 13 runs on 16 hits. We head to the 9th. Kansas City, tough day for the Royals. But Royals fans, it's time for you to have an impact with the All-Star game. You can vote up to 35 times for your Royals online, including a maximum of 5 ballots cast in any 24-hour period. So be part of the All-Star game as you were last year and help select the starting lineups for the 2016 All-Star rosters. Royals.com/vote. Wade Davis in to get some work. Danny Espinosa takes low for ball 1. Royals had gone a week without using Wade Davis and then finally had to use him on Saturday in Seattle just to get him some work. And this is not ideal. But the Royals have a day off tomorrow. Wade Davis can get on the mound, stay sharp, and be ready for the Indian series over the weekend. Fouled back by Espinosa. 2 balls and 1 strike. He is 0 for 3 today, but he has driven in a run. And as you'd imagine, in a 13-run game, there are plenty of key hits, plenty of contributors, and all 9 in the Nationals lineup have at least scored a run or at least driven in a run. And it was similar to the game last night, where 8 of the 9 had a base hit for Washington. And 7 of the 9 had at least a run scored or an RBI. Christian Colon makes the play to get Espinosa, and there is 1 down. Let's answer our Sprint trivia question. Who holds the Expos/Nationals franchise record for most outfield assists in a season? I'm going to say Ellis Valentine.
Good guess. I'll go Andre Dawson, Hall of Famer. Or Big Daddy Vladdy, either one.
Which one? You got to pick
one.
All
right, I'll take Hawk.
Warren Cromartie.
What?
Whoa.
There he is. He surfaced. I knew it.
Look at that. Why do I get the feeling that that trivia question was designed just for you?
I love the guys in the truck.
There he is. There's the Crow. Great look, that Expos cap/helmet.
Slugging it out in Japan. And here.
There he is. Look at that.
Oh, this must be Ricky Horton. Don't throw it, Ricky. Don't do it. I'll get you. Oh, baby, on the line. Uh-oh. Oh, we got a man there.
Let's take a look at that again.
That was a pinch hit home run, Rhino, by the way.
Let's look at that again.
My grandma was there in Dodger Stadium. First time she's ever seen me play. And I come off the bench, and Norton tried to throw a changeup to me. And I dropped a head on him. I got some
on top of it, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I remember after the game, it was a wall scraper. Look, hey, 56 of the accidents I hit were all wall scrapers. But when I went up to the stands after the game, I hugged my grandma and I got emotional. So did she. It's a special moment these guys play when their families come. You know, you don't get a chance to.
What about the home run you hit in Baltimore? That wasn't a wall scraper.
It was windblown.
There is only one player in Major League Baseball, one current player in Major League Baseball that played for the Expos. Because I think, what was it, Maicer is retired, so that left one player still in the game today who wore a Montreal Expos uniform.
That's the trivia question that we didn't get.
It is not Warren Cromartie.
All right. Oh, well,
just start thinking about the old guys in the game today. You want a hint?
Yeah.
We saw him in the World Series.
Bartolo Colon.
Yep. who went to the Expos in a terrible trade for Montreal. In the long run, I mean, they needed a pitcher, but they gave up Brandon Phillips, Cliff Lee, and Grady Sizemore. Cleveland Indians got those 3 guys for Bartolo Colon, who I think just finished out that season and then moved on to another team. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Stephen Drew. And by the time the game is done today, you will never have to go to Montreal for the rest of your life, because now you know everything about Montreal. It's like you've been there. We were there, I say we, the Royals were there in 2002 for interleague play, and what a great city. Clean city. Everyone is bilingual. I mean, they jump in and out of English and French like it's nothing.
You know what? And you could eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner off of the metro floor of their transportation system there. It was immaculate.
Paulo Orlando is back in right field and makes the play. To the bottom of the 9th inning. You're about to witness the greatest comeback in Royals history. Nationals fans have been waiting for this moment, and so has the young man on the mound. There are a lot of fans in red that are cheering for the Royals, and that's because they're here to see Blake Treinen, born in Wichita, grew up in Osage City, 40 miles south of Topeka, about 90 miles from Kauffman Stadium. And boy, does he have a story in his journey to get to the big leagues, and we'll try and get in as many details as possible. He'll pitch to Salvador Perez and throw low for ball 1. Salvi hits for the first time. He took over at first base in the 7th inning. Blake Treinen started his college career at Baker University in Baldwin City on the JV team, and he only made 3 appearances. That'll be out of play. His college education was extremely important to him, and so in pursuit of his major, he decided to transfer to the University of Arkansas. He had a good arm and figured that he would walk on. He would try out. So he goes to Arkansas. He goes to the baseball office and said, "When's your tryout? I'd like to try and make the team." And the staff says, "We don't do tryouts. If we did tryouts, it would take 3 weeks to try out everybody, because the entire state of Arkansas would try and make the Razorbacks team." So he was denied the opportunity to play at Arkansas. No baseball. But he knew all of the exercises strengthening exercises, you know, with the rubber tubing and light weights, and decided, okay, I'm just going to devote myself 100% to strengthening my arm.
Smart.
So that's what he did his entire second year of college. And then he hooked up at a coaching clinic with a former KU pitcher, Don Ches, and went to a pitching clinic, and Don Ches said, well, this guy's got a pretty good arm. He should be pitching somewhere. Well, Ches, when he was at KU, played with Richie Price. Richie Price is the son of KU coach Rich Price. And Richie Price was the head coach at South Dakota State. Said, you need to give this kid a try. And so off he goes to South Dakota State and begins to gain velocity. And suddenly he is throwing in the 90s and is drafted by the Oakland A's in the 7th round of 2011 out of South Dakota State. Wow. And that's the journey from Osage City, Kansas to Baldwin City, Kansas at Baker University. From Baker University to Arkansas, where he wasn't allowed to play, to South Dakota State, and now in the big leagues.
Well told. Now, you know, he's one of my favorite young National League pitchers now after hearing that, Rhino. Because the guy didn't give up on himself. He's not the first player that's ever heard no, but he went ahead and strengthened himself, and he didn't waste any time. I love that. He worked out. He got stronger. And now look at him, and looking at his 8 pitches he's thrown, he has a bowling ball sinker at 94, 95. That is filthy. I got 90 to 97 and a slider. Tremendous sink. Good movement away there.
I don't want to put myself in the place of his friends and family, but I think they can relax a little bit.
Yeah, look at them.
They're up by 11 in the 9th inning.
And they're white knuckling.
Ooh. Morales strikes out. By the way, in addition to that story, Blake grew up a Royals fan. So a big thrill for him to be pitching here at Kauffman Stadium. He's only been to about 5 Royals games as a kid, and that releases some of the tension from at least those 3 fans here to watch him pitch today.
I'm not a GM, and that's a good thing for any baseball team. But what do the Royals got to do to find this young man? He'd fit right in the back end of that bullpen somewhere. Anybody's bullpen with that kind of stuff he's got, the movement. Wow.
Terrence Gore gets his first at bat of the season. 1 ball and 1 strike. We remind you to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at one of the 7 Rally House locations in the KC metro area. All participants will be entered to win a majestic prize pack. One and 2. I was talking to him yesterday and wanted to make sure that everything I had read, I want to get the details correct. And I said, so how much did your velocity jump? And he says, well, you know, that year that I took off in high school to get back in shape, you know, that's when I really started to develop physically. Strike 3, and down goes Gore. And there are 2 down. I said, really? Tell me about that. He said, well, for most of my childhood, I didn't play sports. I would just sit at home and drink soda pop all day and watch TV. And he started to get symptoms of type 2 diabetes. He had juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, aching joints, fatigue, and his mom finally said, look, you're hurting yourself here. You got to get outside and you got to get active. So he took a whole year off. And he said, by the way, I was 5'8", 240 pounds.
Whoa.
So he took an entire year off his sophomore year just to get his life back in order, get his body back into shape. And so that just adds to the legend of Blake Trinan from Osage City. By the way, that is fewer than 3,000 in population, and he had just 48 in his graduating class. And while his friends and family were white knuckling that inning, he gets around a leadoff walk and pitches a scoreless bottom of the 9th inning. And the lifelong Royals fan gets a chance to pitch at Kauffman Stadium as the Nationals win the game and win the series. Final score 13-2. We'll be right back.